Day 6 of leaving my corporate job to join my husband's small business. So I'm Amy. You may have started seeing my videos on TikTok, or maybe this is the first time you have seen one of my videos. I am an ex-corporate marketing and influencer manager for fashion brands. And I decided on January 30th to put in my notice to leave and go on my own to pursue my passion. So I am joining my husband Robbie's business, which is a vintage clothing store. He does not have a storefront. He sells online and at pop-up markets on the weekends. And he has been building this store since we met. So in 2020, in the pandemic, we met and we both were laid off from our corporate retail jobs. And Robbie had always kind of been doing vintage, like thrifting and reselling on the side for quite some time, but it was never really like a full-time thing that he did. And when we were both laid off, we put our heads together as two broke pandemic people would do with no jobs to try and figure out how we could get some money to go on dates and enjoy some of the fun things life has to offer. So I knew nothing about vintage fashion, but I loved fashion from the 1970s. I'm born on Earth Day, so I've always been told that if there was like a decade that I belonged in, I should have been born in the 70s. It was just kind of always the way that I leaned towards when I dressed normally, but I had never worn authentic vintage clothing. So Robbie quickly started showing me the ropes on like thrifting for stuff, showing me some of the items that he had, and I was just mesmerized by them. So we basically got through the pandemic doing just that together. He was an operations analyst, a district manager, and a store manager, and I always worked in buying, merchandising, e-commerce, and marketing. So eventually I did go back to work as the vintage store was not enough to sustain both of us, quite frankly, not enough to sustain him either. So one of us needed a full-time job. So that's basically like what he did. And then I left recently just because I was kind of honestly tired of like the corporate rat race of trying to, follow like the rules of corporate speak and making content that other people wanted. And I knew that if I could do this for Robbie's business, who knows where it could go. And so I just wanted to follow my passion of being on my own and getting back into working alongside him. So this is going to be a 3-part series. I'm going to open up and give you guys the reality of how things are in the store today and kind of what I'm doing, why I'm showing up on TikTok documenting my journey. So yeah, if you are into thrifting, if you're into vintage fashion, if you just want to watch somebody's journey of throwing all their life towards the wind and saying, let's do this, then follow along, because I'm going to show you guys the good, the bad, the ugly, all the things. So come along.